Have you ever wondered how it is that all of this becoming has become? Don't you wonder about the expansion and the evolution of your universe and even of your time and place? Haven't you noticed that there are no pipelines trucking resources in from other planets? What's happening is vibration is becoming. Vibration is becoming reality. And there is a powerful and specific and learnable, teachable, doable, dependable process where you can deliberately turn vibration to thought and thought to thing. And we want you, if we could just mind meld for a little bit, we could just zap you with our knowing about this because of the joy we know that it would bring to you. If we could just convince you that in this process of thoughts turning to things, that's what you came for, that's the joy that you came for. You think you came for the thought having already turned to the thing. In other words, once I get that, then I'll feel happy. And we say, got to feel happy along the way or it can't happen. You've got to be ready 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 to be ready. So much so that when that final manifestational phase kicks in, where the powerful universe is just yielding to you all of the components and you feel it happening because the collaborative parties are all surrounding you. There's so much cooperation and you see it everywhere you turn. There's someone else standing there with their hands out and you with your hands out. You're there to collaborate with one another. Before it tips into that phase of creation, before that actually happens, you've got to be in a vibrational place of allowing it. And if you are, then the tipping into the manifestation just feels like the next logical step to you. It doesn't blow your mind. You don't go, wow, oh, that's unbelievable. How did that happen to me? You just understood because you were ready for this, and then 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 you were ready for this. How can you be ready to receive an inspiration? How can you be ready to receive a download of guidance from your inner being who knows exactly where you would best be standing right here, right now? How can you begin to receive that download of information if you are not in the receiving mode? And can you be in the receiving mode while you're in the complaining mode, while you're in the comparative mode, while you're in the I don't like where I am mode? You can't. And so little by little by little by little by little doesn't take a lot of time. It just is an incremental thing that takes place. You get ready to be 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 ready. We'll talk about that as we're moving forward today, and you'll get the hang of what we're talking about. Well, we'll just tell you right now. So let's say you're standing in a current reality that does not have as much money at your fingertips as you desire or as you need. So there's a clear shortage of dollars and you want more dollars. You've been talking about it. You've been complaining about it. You're annoyed at others who have enough. You bond with others who don't have enough. There's something that you believe is central to your experience that is right now missing from your experience. And so you decide you're going to do something about it. So you come to a gathering like this. There are a lot of teachers around that are teaching you prosperity, teaching you how to be more mindful or more purposeful or more in the now. The world is rampant with people with great ideas. So you show up somewhere and you decide to set your goal for X number of dollars in X amount of time, and you want it. And you rev yourself up, you hype yourself up. You say all the right words. You affirm it, you affirm it, you affirm it. I am prosperous, you lie to yourself. This is going to be easy, you say. The universe is just going to rain it down upon me. But what's going wrong here is that you haven't become ready to be 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 ready. You jumped into your own creation at the manifestation stage. You just jumped right in, looked around, said, don't like this, need this, don't like this, need this, don't like this, need more of this, need more of this, goal, 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 goal. Okay, I'm ready. But you're not ready because you are still more vibrationally active in where you are. In other words, your current reality and your attention to it is causing you to offer a constant vibration that doesn't allow you to be in the receptive mode. You got to be ready 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 to be ready. You can't just jump in over here. Here's a way that you can sort of kind of get what we're talking about. Have you ever done quite a bit of research on something or had quite a bit of life experience about it? And therefore found quite a bit of success for yourself about it. And in any event, this subject is clear within you, it's working for you, and you feel pretty stable in your knowledge about this thing. And now you're visiting with someone who wants to know what you know, but hasn't had the experience, hasn't had the focus. They're what feels to you like very far from understanding what you know, and you just knock yourself out. Every time you get together, it's the most frustrating experience for you. You make notes of what you're going to say. You explain it in the best possible way that you can. You give examples that are valid and stimulating and informative and educating, and they just argue with you. And the more you make the point of what you know to be, the more they make a counterpoint, and nothing ever changes within them, and you leave frustrated. And this is the phrase, the operative word that we would like you to leave this gathering with today. You can't get there from here. You cannot get there from here. We've really enjoyed visiting with you. Good luck with this. You can't get there from here. Now, Abraham, what's happened to you? You used to be our optimistic mentor. What do you mean? You said I can be or do or have anything that I want. What do you mean I can't get there from here? Here's what we mean. If you are going to approach your creation from a what is manifested state, and what is manifested, what is surrounding you, is the opposite of what you want or the absence of what you want, and that's the point at which you're jumping in, there is so much momentum that is happening that you can't think your thoughts around it. Oh, you've tried. You can't take enough action to compensate for that avalanche of steady thoughts that you're thinking in opposition to yourself. Do you sort of kind of get what we're talking about? And if you've ever been in an argument with someone who is seeing things from a different point of view, and you felt the frustration of them just not listening, they're just not even trying to get what you're saying, that's what you do to yourself all day, every day. You're not even trying. You're not even trying. Your own beliefs are arguing with your own desires. And sometimes you say, well, this sounds hard, Abraham, because my own beliefs, I got that one when I was really little, when my stepfather beat the hell out of me on a regular basis. That's when I picked that one up. And I got that one when I lived with my parents who never had enough money, who always complained about not enough money, who taught me frugality to the point of miserishness. And so I've had some of these beliefs for such a long time. How can I bridge those beliefs? And we say, you got to start at a more neutral, less biased, less active vibrational place. That's why we and so many teachers teach meditation. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And so a really good meditation is a meditation where you do quiet your mind. Now, some of you say, I try to meditate, but I've got this wild and crazy mind that just won't settle down. It will after a while. Give it 15 minutes today, and it might or it might not, but give it 15 minutes tomorrow, and it might not, but give it 15 minutes the next day, and it might not, but let that be your intention. Listen to the air conditioner condenser that's that little hum in your house, or look at a flickering light on something, or watch a candle, or count your own breaths in and out. Just get focused upon something that's not that interesting, but that will hold your attention until your mind settles down. And when your mind settles down, the physical sensation for you, because when your mind settles down, you will be in the receiving mode of allowing a fuller connection between you and your own inner being, you and source energy. And as you settle down, you'll begin to feel that feeling of connection. When Esther first meditated on that very first day, it felt like numbness. It felt like detachment. She couldn't tell her nose from her foot. She couldn't feel the chair beneath her, although she was fairly certain it was there, but she was not focused upon it. She was just existing in a sort of state of mindlessness. Now, it might take you a little while, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days. It might take you a whole week if you'll meditate for 15 minutes until you find that sort of feeling of detachment. But when you do, the remarkable thing that will happen to you is that you will have started in a place that you can get there from. If you start in a vibrational place of mindlessness, then the dominant mind that is really you, the source energy mind that is you, will be the mind that it is, and in your mindlessness, meaning in your releasing all of the thoughts that you've been thinking that have been holding you apart from this whole of who you are. It's like the cork that you hold under the water. When you let go of it, it bobs back to the top. It's like that. When you're not worrying about money, or when you're not remembering how mad you are at that person, or when you're not dreading doing something, or when you're not throwing your remote at the television, when you are in a place of mindlessness, and by that we mean your own human conscious mind focused on something, when you are not thinking your own thought, when you are in that state of mindlessness, your source energy will be the dominant vibration within you. You got ready for that. You're getting ready for that just by listening to us. And when you sit and you do that, you'll get it. And when you come back into your full consciousness after having found that, you'll feel better. You will feel a sense of satisfaction. Hold the satisfaction word in your mind. We're going to come back around to it many times today. So you feel satisfied. Now, that's enough. Don't sit there and meditate all day. You'll make yourself crazy. And your mind is not designed that way. Your mind is designed to focus. So just take that as that I got ready to be ready, and I was ready. And then get on with the other things that you're about. Because there are many things that you already have momentum about. You got kids to feed and employers to pretend like you're serving, and you have a lot going on in your experience. So then the next day when you meditate, same thing, only this time, it will be easier for you because now you know the feeling that you're reaching for, and when you find it, you may be there a little longer. If you meditate for 15 minutes, maybe the first day, 14 and a half minutes, you won't have gotten there. But the second day, around 12 or 13 minutes, you may find yourself in that place. So get there, and when you come out of meditation, don't think during meditation. It's counterproductive. But when you come out of meditation, say to yourself, well, I got ready to be ready. And I was ready. And so just let it go like that for just a little while. Ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. Now here's what's going to happen. Right away you'll notice this. Right away. Even before you get to the place where you've really got a quieted mind. Just with a little bit of focus on that. A little bit more readiness to be ready. What you'll begin to notice is that those pure vibrations that are coming from your source pack a lot of wallop. And by that we mean they are powerful. This is the energy that creates worlds that you're tapping into. And your inner being is flowing this vibration toward you, knowing full well everything that you've been asking for. Everything that as you've sifted through what you don't want and known what you do want, that you've thrown vibrationally into your vibrational reality. In other words, your inner being knows what you're reaching for in physical format. We're not trying to talk you out of being alive in your body. And we're not trying to talk you out, in fact, the opposite is true, of not creating. We want you to create magnificent everythings that you want, relationships and empires and bank accounts and loveliness of life. We want you to create all of those things. We just want you to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, because you can't get there from here if you're not ready. If you are not able to go right back to the almost primal beginning of the root of who you are and allow that pureness to become a little more, and then become a little more, and then to become a little more, you're not going to be consciously turning thoughts to things. But once you allow yourself to get there, then what happens? So now we have to start in another place. And most of you have heard us say this, and if you haven't, we're going to say it so clearly, you'll get it with this one explanation. So you came from non-physical, and here you are in your physical body, and most of you is still non-physically focused, but this important part of you is here sifting and sorting through contrast. So you know what you don't want, and you launch rockets of what you do want, and every time you launch that rocket of what you do want, your source joins you in that thought. So we've been saying for years that the creative process is step one, you must ask. That's why you're in this body sifting and sorting. It's important that you get to decide what you want, how you want to live, how you want to be, where you want to live, what kind of life you want to live, who you want to live it with, how much fun you want to have. In other words, it's important that you identify all of those things. And so when you do, at both conscious and unconscious levels, you launch these rockets of desire. And when you do, step one, then step two happens, which means source energy joins that vibrational rockets. Source energy answers, vibrationally answers. Vibrationally. We are very pleased to be having this conversation with ourselves because source energy does answer, but You got to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready.